no time to rest.
So this is going to be part 2 of the series connected with DJing and how I DJ with Ableton Live when I can't get my hands on some CDJs. Okay? Sometimes I just need to record a podcast, but I want it to feel right. I need it to feel the way I feel when I'm mixing on a DJ mixer in the club. But if I don't have an external recording device, or if I don't have CDJs at my disposal, I still want to deliver something. How do I do that? Well, this is the next part where we really dig in. In the last episode, if you didn't get to see how we prepared the audio files, then go ahead, take a look at that, and then come right back here. Yes? Okay, so in this episode, we are going to set up our decks, our virtual decks within Ableton. We're going to set up our queuing system with the headphones and give a little more talk about how you would deal with your audio interface. Let's get into it. 2 different options for if you're going to be DJing. So the first option is, well, actually, let's just look at the screen first. We see here that I have 4 audio channels that I've named deck 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have 1 MIDI channel. If we are not looking at this section at all with the auxiliaries, then we're just looking here, and to let you know, you can go directly from Ableton Live to the DJ mixer if you have the right audio interface. So as long as your audio interface has at least 4 channels out, then that means you can take a left and right, 1 and 2, and go straight to DJ mixer stereo channel. And then you can take left and right, 3 and 4, and you can also go to the second DJ mixer channel. And you would do that by going here, actually not the inputs, but your audio 2, your outputs, and you would go to the external outs, and you would choose whichever channels you wanted to go out of from your interface. And then you would take a cable. In this case, let's pretend it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you would take a cable from your audio unit and attach it directly to the DJ mixer. And then from there, you can use the filters and the effects, no problem, right? And if you wanted to also have Ableton Live effects in there, then you could choose to add some down here and map them to your controller, so you have some additional functions in your hands. For example, you could take a beat repeat, or do a 1-bar loop up to 4-bar loop in case you want to loop on the fly. But I'll talk about that a bit deeper later on. What if you don't have a DJ mixer and you need to go straight from your audio interface into a main PA system or something like that? You would send your audio to sends only. Sends only. You want to set up 2 auxiliary channels over there, minimum of 2, because you need your deck DJ channel 1 and DJ channel 2. You can name it whatever you want. But you can insert a return track. So every time I say auxiliary, actually what I mean is a return track. So you insert a return track, and then you can have 2 of those there. And so I want to send the audio from these channels over to the return deck. Okay, and then how do I send it? I use these sends here. So A deck is being sent, this whatever audio I play from this channel is being sent there. And on my controller, I can control, if you look at this section, I can control the volume level from there because I've mapped it there by using the MIDI map function inside of Ableton. So I already mapped this, it's there. And just so you know, I have chosen to stop it once it reaches 0, because Actually, naturally, these faders will go all the way up to plus 12. You don't want to do that. You're going to have distorted audio. So mine never goes past, never goes past 0. And that's because I set it that way. So you see that right here. A-deck mixer, track volume. The maximum that it can go is 0. And then it can go infinitely to, silence. And I've also done that here with mixer channel B. Okay? So anytime you want to put limits on certain parameters that you map to your MIDI controller, you can do it here. I have found that process has been very important with me sort of tapering or keeping my EQs within a certain range so that they don't go too high or too fizzly or too much reverb or too much delay or something like that. But again, there's plenty of tutorials out there for creating your effects racks, and maybe I'll do one later on, but this video is more about the setup and the concept behind how you can do this. All right, so let's dive back in. So I am sending audio from here to A, and because sometimes I'm also going to overlay various percussion loops or vocal one-shots and things like that, I also have a deck 3 and a deck 4, just in case I want to work with a lot more tracks. And I each have them sent to A or B. In this case, I have C on because there's another step when dealing with the return tracks, because I can include things like, as you see here, I have reverb or I have a delay. These are strictly, if you look down here at the bottom, these are strictly for effects. I don't usually want to route a full dry audio signal to these. So sometimes what I do is while I'm playing a track here, I may decide that I want to give it a little reverb for whatever, yeah? So that's just a technique or a style that I incorporate sometimes. So that's basically how the session is set up. And then here on deck A, you see I have mapped to my controller the ability to do the EQs. So this is my low frequencies. I have the same mapped to this controller knob for the deck next to it. So I can manipulate these at the same time, just like on a DJ mixer. I also have this high pass filter, right? And some other things. Depending on which controllers I use, makes a difference as to how many of these I have mapped. I also have chosen to have a beat repeat that I got from Afro DJ Mac. Thanks for that. So anyway, if I want to do a quarter bar loop, I can just engage that while the track is playing, if you're looking at my controller. And that's pretty fun because that allows me to do some fun beat rolls on the fly. The next bit I want to focus on dealing with our routings. So if we are routing within this system, then that means we don't have a DJ mixer where we can just plug in our headphones and cue the channels. So in order to cue them here, we actually have to check out our I/O settings again. And in this case, if we want to be able to listen to audio and preview it without the rest of the world hearing, we have to have a place to send it. So in this case, I have my master out going through 1 and 2, and then I have my cue out going through 3 and 4. Now, the reason that I can just use 1 and 2 simply for this whole session, even though I'm having a couple of decks, is because I'm going to do all my mixing and blending of the different audio right in the box. Yeah, we're getting there. Thanks so much for tuning in again to how I do that like that. And now, get your stuff ready. Set up your decks, make some choices about how you creatively want to work through things. Get a little bit of practice in, see how you feel about your effects. Listen to some DJ mixes out there and see if your work can somehow be comparable or different. Maybe you don't want to be comparable. Maybe you want to be out of this world. Go for it. Play around with it. I don't know your genre. You know your genre better than me. Do it.